Did you know that newborn babies can get adjusted? I'm Dr. Crystal,
I'm Dr. Sean.
and we take care of tons of little ones at our practice and have been for years. We've had great experience getting to work with babies right from birth, and getting the experience of helping families be healthier and not have to deal with a lot of the things that can go wrong if a child starts off on the wrong foot.
Yeah, it's wild. We have over 12 years of experience where we get hands-on day after day, get to see kids' lives changed. And I want to briefly talk about the research that came out recently where they showed they did a study where 99% of newborns, and it was uncomplicated births, not C-sections, not stressful, 99% of them had some type of misalignment in their spine. And so
99 out of 100, that's a lot. So that's thinking when your baby's born, you have, this perfect little child who is geared up for great growth and development, and having those issues, especially up in that upper cervical spine, can cause a lot of damage over the years if it's not taken care of properly. And we don't say that just from experience in the office getting to care for other people's kids. We ourselves have firsthand experience with our own child as well.
yeah, you have a certain game plan, right? We had
The birth plan.
We had a birth plan.
We had it all down to a T, and unfortunately that whole thing was out the window with complications during my pregnancy. Unfortunately, at an early on stage, at 19 weeks, my water had broken, and just stress beyond belief of trying to maintain just the right emotional state to help this baby survive. And then at 30 weeks, I ended up having to do an emergency C-section. So we understand what it's like when you have this perfect plan of how you want everything to go, and then something happens and you have to really pivot immediately. So
Yeah, and we know the research too. We know the research where prenatal stress creates negative effects on baby, and also complications during the birth process as well create stress. And so knowing this firsthand and moving forward was a whole different experience for us.
Yeah, so unfortunately, when my water broke so early, we were basically getting prepared for the baby to not survive. That's what they basically told us to, could happen. And if the baby did survive, then we would have a lifelong issue with breathing and lung development, since there's not any amniotic fluid in there. So that's what helps with baby's lung development. So we had all of that to be dealing with as well. And then once our son was born, he was in the NICU for about 6 weeks, but really only had breathing support for 2 days.
2 days.
And we owe that to chiropractic care.
Yeah, so we say, the medical system saved our kid's life. Absolutely.
Yes.
100%. And chiropractic, we know through the science and the research and the experience firsthand of seeing his life come back through getting adjusted and through clearing out his nervous system.
Yeah, so he's been thriving ever since. Such a happy, healthy little boy, and we are just so grateful.
Don't forget Sassy.
Yeah, he is getting a little sassy at his 3-year-old age now, but that's what it does when you can have a baby that has these challenges to start, and see what it actually does when their nervous system is turned back on and can get them to a normal, healthy, growing and developmental, section of their growth. So we love to see other babies that have these experiences as well. A lot of stories are not like ours, but some are, and even worse, really, like more stressful, and we know what it does to the parents, so you can only imagine what that can do to your little one as well. So with C-sections in general, there are a couple of things that the baby doesn't necessarily get that other babies do with being born vaginally. They don't have that first inoculation of the good bacteria going through the birth canal, so their immune systems tend to be less. and also their lung development and lung function, because they're getting that constricted squeezing motion through the birth canal as well. They lose out on that. So the pressure and tension that's put on the baby's neck and head during any type of delivery, whether it's C-section or not, is a lot of pressure. So that's why I think that study really hit home when it shows that most babies have some sort of misalignment.
Yeah,
you would never know.
They filtered out all of the complicated pregnancies.
These
deliveries.
are like normal births.
Yeah.
So you don't necessarily know that a child has these issues. They may appear normal and kind of growing on a normal pace, but you would never know unless you're able to get their nervous system checked and get some of the testing that you can only get at a chiropractic office.
Yeah, so what we do with a baby who just comes to the office is we do a scan. We do a detailed NCI is what we call it, where we just do a deep dive into the history. It's not just the birth, but before birth. And because, can you guys imagine, like, we know the science and research of stress before birth, and we're just completely going through it in the moment. And so the scans that we do, they measure stress that builds up in the nervous system. And we just got brand new scanning technology that literally allows us to measure the buildup of stress. It's NASA certified technology. It's non-invasive. There's no poking, there's no pricking, there's no radiation. It's absolutely safe.
Yeah, state of the art. We really had an awesome upgrade in the office recently, and so excited to be able to use that new tech on all of our practice members, not just the babies, but because it is safe for pregnant women, newborns, infants, children of all ages, we can take an inside look without having to actually do any harm to the body with radiation and things. It takes an inside look at how your nervous system is functioning and what level we're starting at. And sometimes there are things that need to be addressed because they can turn into issues later on. Some of the most common things we see babies and kids for are things like ear infections, digestive issues, breathing problems, behavioral issues down the line too, struggles with bedwetting and things like that. So it's not just for aches and pains, especially for our kid group. They don't really have that as often, but they are still kids. They still fall a lot and injure themselves. They're busy playing sports and stuff. So we like to keep them healthy very early on, which is why we wanted to address especially newborns.
Yeah, that's why we encourage from day one to just get scanned to see how that nervous system is performing with that technology, because that gives us almost like a window into their nervous system, because we don't need research to tell us that the nervous system is the most important system. When that's functioning well, then we get to develop, then we get to grow, then we get to blossom.
It talks to all the other systems.
It does.
So if that one's not strong, you don't really have as much of a chance of having a good immune system or endocrine system or digestion, all of those things. So because that's the master controller, they call it, we really want to make sure that one's top-notch performance. And that's what we do at our office. So we love taking care of children and their parents and everybody else too. We see lots of families and kids. So we highly, highly, highly encourage you to get your little ones checked. Don't wait. It's never too late, but it's always best to start as soon as possible. We see babies we're their first stop after being born a lot of times. So I think my record's like 10 hours old for my first check.
That wasn't our own baby.
Yeah, Sean got to check our own baby himself sooner than that. So he's winning right now. But we love seeing kids in the office. That's really where our passion lies with pregnancy and children. So we cannot wait for you to get your child checked, because it could be the difference of what makes or breaks how they develop and grow into their more adult years.
Yeah, healthy young life development is so important, not just for them, but for your guys' stress levels too as parents. It's so impactful knowing that you did everything you can to create an amazing environment for them and their nervous system. So if you have a kid, you want to get them checked, reach out to us through either email, phone, DM us. We are more than happy to answer absolutely any questions that you have, share any research that we have. We love what we do, and I hope it shows through, and we would love to check and see how their nervous system's functioning.